It all started with Sinclair, where there's no mathematical way we would have ever gotten where we're at if we didn't advertise. It can't be done. So that's my dad's first company right there. Cambria Glass and Insulation. That's what he started. And that's where I worked. That's where I grew up, right there on the left. Our metropolitan area is 22,000 people. We have to travel 3 hours north, south, east, and west to get a couple million. And if I remember the statistics of Johnstown, it's one of the poorest cities in the state. I grew up in the west end of town, and I loved it. It's aged a lot, and industry's left like a lot of small towns, but Johnstown endures for some reason. Back in the late 70s, my dad got laid off from the steel mill.
I lost my job, so we got into insulating homes, and I did it as a part-time thing to make extra money. Little did I know it would become my life's ambition. First year, we did a volume of about $6,000, and then we built it to a company that did $6-7 million.
It became to a point where they had to have a building, and they made an offer on an old gas station. They didn't accept my dad's offer. We were all bummed out, and maybe the day or two later, my dad came back and said, nope, they changed their mind, they accepted it. Yeah, this is me, Kuwait, Persian Gulf.
I never was the kind of father that demanded my son come into the business because that would have ruined him.
He wanted to be a pilot. I wanted to fly since I was in kindergarten. Went to the academy, graduated, got my commission, became a naval officer, naval aviator. That was my last flight, I think. There was 5 of us in formation. Not a bad way to end it. I met my wife. Of all the places I've been in the military, I met her on a blind date. We moved home and got out and came back into the business that I grew up in with my dad, and I didn't know anything about windows. I knew about leadership and people, so I put myself into every part of the company. I went out and I worked in the plant, and I ran the sales calls, and I did the installs, did deliveries, and I did service calls so that my people, when they work for me, can't say, hey, you never did that. We have to operate in Johnstown at a Johnstown pace, and we have to go into Pittsburgh and compete at a major metropolitan area pace.
I've been working with Best Window for 26 years. And what's fascinating about working with a multi-generational business in terms of marketing is that it completely has changed from when we started. They're early adopters of innovation and technology. So every single time I would come and say, hey, I could do this. Would you be willing to try it? Yeah, let's try it.
Sinclair was always and has always brought us the first. From WJAC TV and Kira coming in, we learned viewership, live television shows, we learned sporting events, and then we started learning, prime versus live. Then the digital age came. Kira came along and said, hey, now we can target to zip codes, housing income, and ages. And then they started giving us the data.
It's much more about a partnership of developing trust. If it wasn't working, they would have stopped our partnership a long time ago.
Because of JAC and Kira and the guidance over the 20 years of teaching us how to advertise, television, digital placements, yes, we have grown 10 times the size of what we were when I walked in the door.
Hi, John. This is Krista calling from Best Window and Door.
It's a very family-oriented company. My guys, sometimes it feels like you're a father to them. It's your responsibility to make sure they're safe.
When I walked in, we did no installs, no marketing, no sales. We covered our town. And now, 20 years later, we cover 32 counties. We didn't install one house. Now, annually, we do 800 to 1,000 homes a year. It all started with Kira and JAC and Sinclair, where there's no way we would have ever gotten where we're at. It can't be done.